morning, everyone. This is Mike Quatromoni with Earthworks. We're here at Joanna Jacoby and Marco Mears' property. Joanna and Marco came to Earthworks early March in search of some, desperate landscape design and backyard makeover. They've been living in the house for, enough time to realize that where they spent a lot of time, they wanted a facelift. So they contacted us. I came out here, did a consult, just really, they were interested to see what we had to offer. So we shot for the stars, made a whole landscape design in the backyard. After a series of reviews with the homeowners, we were able to kind of cost engineer everything to fit their budget, and what we're left with is still an amazing design. What we have stored for them is we're going to be demoing part of their screen enclosure off their back porch and extending the screen out, almost doubling their outdoor hardscape area. So their patio is going to be extended out, and it's going to butt right up to a gorgeous pondless waterfall. We're going to put some bells and whistles on this one. We're going to do 2 stacked slate urns and an urn down in the basin, which will, where that ends up in the design, once they open their front door, if you were to look through their house, you're going to be staring at the fountain. So as you can see, our access is going to be down the left side of this house. What we'd like to do is try to preserve as much sod as we can. They got some nice specimen sylvestris palm trees. And the main idea with the landscape that they wanted to achieve was just to block out the neighbors, start getting that nice concealed privacy feeling in their backyard. They have some gorgeous mature trees. I believe that's a laurel of some sort, laurel oak, and a couple other ones that the builder was lucky enough to be able to save. So we're left with pretty much this blank canvas, and what we're focusing on this phase of the project is this spot right here. So they spent a ton of time right tucked in here, and they just want something to enjoy and look at and unwind from the day. So what we're gonna do, this area here, actually, they have future plans to extend their house out, so we're not even gonna touch that. What we're gonna do is come from this outside post here. Their screen enclosure is gonna 90 right here and come 20 foot out. Same thing down on this end. We're gonna come all the way to this corner here and come out. So they're gonna be gaining almost 400 square feet of paved area. Now the remaining square footage, I get to come in and design a beautiful water feature for them. Our waterfall is gonna start here. So with the screen enclosure, it has to be engineered with a footer underneath it for structural purposes. So we have Donnie, our footer guy, coming out here to dig and pour the footer. And on top of that footer, to raise our elevation for our waterfalls, we're going to be building a stone gate, which is a Tremoron wall block. We're going to be building a stone gate retaining wall back in this corner, so they can end up with 2 to 3 feet of waterfall height inside a screen enclosure. With a project this scale and just with this many factors of construction, we like to come out, demo everything, get it prepped for the footer guy. He comes out, pours the footer, and then we're back out here building the waterfall, because I have spec'd in some large boulders, stuff that we couldn't even lift with a wheelbarrow, really, let alone try to get it in after the screen goes up. So there's definitely a pretty special process of steps that we need to go through to execute this kind of job. It's moving along great. Sod's coming up easy. We have the caterpillar. It's not a problem at all. We have their irrigation company that they've been working with since they've been here. They're scheduled to come out today and tomorrow. We're going to get stuff rerouted. We're going to figure out where we need to come up under the footer, because we are going to have some landscape softening this water feature here. So this is what I'm talking about. Their fountainscape with the 2 stacked slate walls and the urn, their basin is going to end up somewhere down in here, and this is really where I want the fountainscape to end, is right up in here, so you can see it straight. Once they open their front door, they'll be able to see right through their house and get a glimpse of some magic. Tons of lights spec'd in here. I think I have 8 total just for the water feature alone. We might be bumping some of those out to highlight some of the specimen plants in their landscape as well, just really tie everything in. Homeowners are super excited. Marco's actually inside working from home today, so every time I see him, he's got the biggest smile on his face, which is awesome. Makes me feel good and gets me in the right mindset to, you know, get this job going for him. So what I'm doing right now is, before Chris gets to graveling and setting the lights down in the basin on our fountains, I have a waterfall coming in right on the side of the stack slate walls. It's actually, the wall's actually working as a frame to one of our waterfalls. So I'm gonna cut a little piece of facade liner, just something small, just to carry that stream look down in the basin just a little bit further, probably only to the stack slate urn, just to give it a little bit more movement down there so it's not all completely dry. I don't really care for that look. So this is how I'm gonna remedy that. Just get a little piece cut. Doesn't have to be a certain shape really. I kind of just figure that out as I go and just fold the edges so it kind of hugs all the rocks and fountains down in there. Just kind of wing it. But we have plenty of excess liner to cut from, so that's what I'm doing. So this is our fall coming into the basin. As you can see right here, that's our reservoir basin. We're gonna have a 1 watt on this fall, a 1 watt centered on each wall, and then there's gonna be a nice 3 watt Chris is working on that's gonna just totally broadcast all 3 of it. So this is gonna be really alive at night, and that's what the residents are looking for. So that liner that I cut, all we have to do is basically that, just cover these, cover the holes in the aqua blocks, and so when the waterfall comes in, it's going to hit this liner and travel another 3 feet. So that's all there is to it. Get that set up.
As far as that light goes.
What light? Okay, so the lights that we're putting in this water feature, they're all Aquascape lights. We have 3 different types. We're going to be using these right here are the 1 watts. These are just little bullet lights. Great product. They're great for like small, kind of intricate little spots. We also have a 3 watt going in. It's the same design, just a little bit larger. And we might sneak in a couple waterfall lights, waterfall up lights, so that looks more like a hockey puck. It just allows it to sit straight vertical. It's perfect for when you have your waterfall rock here and your waterfall's coming over. It sneaks right behind that water and just does a great job of illuminating everything. So there's this. When I sold this job, it was really up to my imagination how many lights I saw this thing holding. So this is totally custom. I think I have a total of 10 just for the water feature, and that's a little overkill, but that's nice because if we don't use them all, we are going to have some nice plant specimens that we can bring these lights. These are also great for landscaping too. They come with little stakes to put in the dirt, so we can always have some wiggle room as far as moving lighting with Aquascape lights out to the plant specimen. So most likely that's what's going to happen here. Get a couple out in the landscape, tie everything in together. We fill the void space inside of these. Like if you took this lid off right here, it's all hollow down in through there. So we go typically a quarter to halfway up with gravel. We just fill the inside cell with that. So that makes it fairly sturdy because you're adding almost like 100 pounds inside of this thing. So if a dog wants to come in here and get a drink or something like that, and it starts bumping into these things, it's not going to knock them over and cause service work for us and a headache for the homeowner. So that's one precaution. The second precaution is I always hit all the edges of these with some foam. It just kind of reassures that stability and that these things don't get knocked out of place, become unlevel, and everything like that. So That's what I'm working on now, I guess. I don't know. All the foam just ends up getting covered with gravel, so there's no worries of losing the aesthetic of nice, clean rock and slate look. We took a little over a week off of this job. We allowed for irrigation reroutes and stub ups to happen. Also, Donnie, our footer and cement guy, he was able to come out here and lay this beautiful footer for us. This is the foundation that needs to be in place for an engineered screen enclosure. So this is what we have here. Monday, 2 days ago, today's Wednesday, we had our paver guys come out and a little unveiling here. We have granite Stonegate, a Tremron product with the matching granite cap for the wall. Now this retaining wall extended a little bit further than I thought, and it's just gonna help us retain all of our soil for the elevation change that we need to make some awesome waterfalls here. The main design principle is, once again, they love hanging out underneath this this roofed area down in here in the mornings, evenings when they come home from work. So we slammed the retaining wall in this far right corner here just to allow these waterfalls to just shoot and aim all their beauty just at their windows and the spots that they hang out the most at. Now we have a lot going on. It looks like a bomb went off here, but that's okay because we're good at cleaning up and making things look epic. So from this side, moving this way, we'll start off kind of where the shovel is going to be. This is designated for landscape, so we're not touching that. This is used for extra dirt and some product right here. Now, where I'm standing is the edge of our aquablock basin system here. We have 11 large aquablocks here, vault, extension, just to jazz up this area for them, which is great. We installed 2 stack slate urns, 2 stack slate walls, a stack slate urn, and the positioning of this is perfect. If you were to walk through their front door, open it up, you have a clear, straight shot right to this focal point here. So that was key. We had to bring in some bells and whistles down in the basin, whereas typically when we build the basin, it's more of the ending point for all the pizzazz, all the waterfalls and everything. It just kind of mellows out in here into a dry, creaky kind of collection point. We cut out that part. We added some bells and whistles. So this is now going to be equally as cool as the top waterfall is going to be. Ton of action going on here, a lot of noise coming from here as well. Working our way further this way, we have our main waterfall coming right in, and then we're just going to have this meandering stream going up to our retaining wall. Back behind here, we have our octopus of plumbing. We have 2 pumps on this project. We have an Aquasurge 5000 that's solely designated for these 3 fountains. Each one's going to get just under 2,000 gallons per hour, so that should be enough. If we need to, we have a 4,000 to 8,000 that I'm going to shoot just up to the waterfall and stream area. So if these aren't jamming how we want them to jam out as far as flow rate goes, I can always run a T off of our second 2-inch line that goes up to the top and tie in and give these guys some more flow. We're going to go flush with our pre-existing slab here, and we're going to extend out. We're going to go on top of the footer for the screen to look. It's going to look super clean, all pavers. This is going to end up being a nice sweeping line, probably coming in somewhere in here, right? And once this water feature is built, we'll be able to swing this curved line and just have it meander right along, hugging, kind of mimicking the shape of the stream, but also allowing some nice, cool looking pockets for landscape as well in the foreground and in the background and up by the spillway, up by the top waterfall. This is all going to end up inside of a cage screen enclosure. It's going to have an amazing feel to it. The sound's just going to carry in when it's cooler, wintertime out, and the windows are open. They'll probably be able to hear this thing when they're cooking, you know, in the kitchen. So it's going to be a great project. So this job has turned out everything and more that I wanted it to. So all the pieces of the puzzle went together real nicely on this one. We did the extension patio form off their back door. We included a long and pondless waterfall stretching from one end nearly all the way to the other end of their screened-in patio. The screen went up, of course. The plants are taken off. This was a really fun design. We've been implementing water features inside screen enclosures more frequently in our designs, and it's a totally different feel. So when we build these, we come in first right after the footers are poured, and we build the water feature, and the last thing to go up is the screen enclosure. So once everything comes together, it totally transforms the feeling of the space and the look of the space, of course, and it just allows for 100% enjoyment. So if anyone's interested in potentially starting a project with a similar design, feel free to contact me, Mike Q at Earthworks, and I'll be glad to come out and give you a hand.